Likkutei Torah Parsha. Let's finish the Maimon. Well, not finish, but let's continue the Maimon Vaetchanan, page 4, second column, midway through the page. Okay, so last thing the Alter Rebbe is bringing down that through the level of Torah and mitzvahs, that by breaking evil, transforming evil, and that is especially by the mitzvah of Talmud Torah. And he says, because the ultimate level of, even though Talmud Torah primarily, the main type of learning is the learning that brings to Psak Halacha, because then you have to really go in depth to understand all the ramifications of it, how it applies and everything else. So he says, even a person who doesn't understand the Psak Halacha, but nevertheless, when a person learns Torah, Hashem is reading opposite him, so therefore you're bringing down that level of elokus, of even though Hashem is close to everybody, especially those that call him through Torah. Okay, so therefore we'll start here now. About midway in the second column. This is what the pasuk says. Moshe Rabbeinu davened Vaetchanan al Hashem, and he said, "You began showing your servant, meaning your greatness, your kindness, and everything." Because Moshe received Torah from Sinai. When Moshe Rabbeinu said, "You began to show me," that's beginning, meaning that's an awakening from above. You showing me, Hashem showing Moshe Rabbeinu, so that's an awakening from above. Because even by Yisrusa the Lusata, in order for there be to Yisrusa Liyas Yisrusa the Leila, to have this Yisrusa the Leila, Tzarech Liyas Tchila Yisrusa the Leila. In other words, always like this. The awakening from below reveals an awakening from above. But in order to get to that awakening from below, from above, in order to get that awakening from below, you still need an awakening from above to get to do those awakening from below, to bring the awakening from above. So it's the three-pair thing. There's first, you have the awakening from above. Then that stimulates the Jew to work their Aveda. And then when the Jew does the Aveda, they reveal a level of Elokus infinitely greater than it was before.
So it always starts from above.
It always starts from above. And he says, that's the Baskel Yetzid Mehar Chayriv, the voice that comes out from heaven that the Neshama hears, which is Hara Mamayla Seruri Tshuva.
Starts from the bottom.
Huh? That's speaking the second tier versus the first tier. First tier is an awakening from above. Then it has the awakening from above. Then it goes to Aveda Milmato. Yaakov Avinu's dream is Tefillah. So Tefillah primarily Milmato Lamaila.
Matzeva was from bottom to top.
After he did his Aveda.
Right.
And then when he poured oil, Milmaila Lamata.
Right.
Okay. Vazet tiknu chacham b'chsamitzus evelasiyatze. Kasher kitshanu b'mitzvah pirush shaydei hamitzvahs shein b'chinas esurus the lasata, by doing mitzvahs in which awakening from below shenas and the one gashmit tzitzah shot samet fon shok. I think we learned this anyway. Nas esurus that it becomes an awakening from above. Liyas shayda kedusha yena. In other words, the Alter Rebbe is saying there has to be a Sirusa Delayla, it's an awakening from above first. And he says, through bringing down Elokus from higher to lower, Baruch, to bring it down, then we could become Asher Kitshanu b'mitzvahs, and then we can make the world holy. Then we have the Aved of the Jew, Shaydei Zeh Asher Kitshanu b'mitzvahs v'tzivanu, and therefore take no abracha kedem mitzvah. Therefore, you have to say the bracha before the mitzvah. The Gemara learns out from a pasuk, you have to say a bracha before you do the mitzvah. Why do you have to make a bracha before the what's the difference when you make the bracha? Because the mitzvah is the avodah of the Jew elevating the physical object. But in order for a Jew to be able to elevate the physical object, he needs the koyach from above. And that koyach from above is when we say, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam. It's interesting, even though the Jew is the one that's saying it. But it's what we're saying, in order to elevate this physical object to Kedusha, it has to come from Omayla.
What about the mitzvah that say bracha?
Which bracha?
The mitzvah that we say.
That's because you can't bring the Hamshachim Omayla yet because you're still in a state of Tumah. There's only 2 mitzvahs, but what's the third mitzvah? Just your diamond mikvah, that's all.
Mila,
You make before.
it was mikvah.
And it's just your diamond, that's all.
What about a ger?
A guy is also mikvah. A guy can't make a bracha when he's still a guy.
So there is 2 in it.
Right. Achein take no bracha, okay, the Shedei HaBracha, Nasam Shachal Yisasiya Mitzvah Srusa L'Sata. That causes the Srusa L'Sata to be awakened the Srusa L'Eila. V'zeh Shebikesh Moshe Eber Nova Eretz Ha'aretz. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu, again, beginning of Vaetchanan, last week's Pasha. The Moshe Rabbeinu said, Eber Nova Eretz Ha'aretz, let me go into the land and see the land. Ki Eretz Ha'yaina. What does Eretz Ha'yaina mean? So it says in Kabbalah that in Medrash, Knesset Yisrael, it refers to the Jews. That's called Eretz Chayfetz. Okay? Because there's a pasuk, Va'atem Tili Eretz Chayfetz. Hashem says to the Jews, you should be a desirable land for me. So the Jews in the Shamas are Eretz Ha'yaina. V'datz Moshe La'am Shua B'chinas Ata Achilaisa. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to bring in Eretz Ha'aretz, right? Moshe Rabbeinu said, he's saying, you began, give me the kindness. Abraham, let me go in to see the land. What's the land? Knesset Yisrael. So Moshe Rabbeinu is saying, Hashem, I need an awakening from above for the Jew to be able to do the Sirusa de L'Sata, the awakening from below, is going to cause the Sirusa de L'Eila of the mitzvah. What? But he said, Ata Shil Bechinas Sirusa de L'Eila. Hanasa Shiloi Aidei Sirusa de L'Sata. There's a Sirusa de L'Eila that comes first. That's not through Aved of the Jew. There's Vayikral Moshe. Then it says Adam Ki Yaakov. First there has to be a revelation from above. Okay? There has to be first Vayered Avayel Ar Sinai. There has to be an awakening from above. That a basker that comes out all the various different places, things. And then that awakening from above stimulates the Jew to have the awakening from below. And then you reveal a level of Likkutei which is infinitely greater than the original awakening from above. But in order to get that, you still need the push of the Mamayla from Hashem. V'zeu dalit. V'zeu b'chinas Yisarut, v'leil b'chinas zu, leitamshech lemata b'chinas gili mamash b'seichel v'asogas machshava mamash. But this, a final Sirusa de L'Eila, is not able to come down in the Pneumius, in Seichel Machshava, because less Machshava Tfisi B'chklal, because no mind can grasp Hashem. But, and in Nitvis B'chinas Re'iyah V'Staktus Halev, that can only be from the level of seeing. Seeing is not understanding. Seeing is much deeper than understanding. And he said, when the Yid are in the level of the Yain of Hashem, then it becomes an infinitely greater level. Then it becomes a level Re'eh, which is an awakening, just seeing itself. which is not nitbis begila v'stab machshava, only harder ba'alma. In other words, like this. You have Riyah and Shmiya. Okay, in fact, this week's parsha is Ekev Tishmun. The heel that hears. It says simply it means when you will hear. Ekev Tishmun, when you will hear. Okay? But the Medrash says, and Chassidus says, Ekev means a heel. Ekev Tishmun, the heel, Ekev, the heel, should hear. Next week's parsha is Re'eya Nechi Neisen Lefnechem Hayem. That's the level of Re'iyah, which is much, much greater than the level of Shmiyah. And the level of Re'iyah is Asher Nechi Neisen Lefnechem Hayem. Because Re'iyah, a little kid can see, right? You can see an object, but they don't understand it, what they're seeing. But in reality, seeing is much deeper than understanding. We learned many times, the halach is an aid, a witness cannot become the judge. Ein aid nasadayin, capital punishment at least. A witness cannot become a judge. Why that should be better than hearing testimony from witnesses? The judge himself saw it. Why isn't that better than hearing from witnesses? Maybe they're lying, maybe they're not true, maybe, you saw it yourself. What could be better than that? The answer is because then you're not impartial. The pasuk says, "V'shaftu ha'eda, v'hitzilo ha'eda." Then the judges have to see it. V'shaftu ha'eda, v'hitzilo ha'eda. They have to judge and they have to be impartial. V'hitzil means you have to save them, be matzil them. Once you see it, you can never be impartial.
If you saw somebody to the knife, you saw the good children.
You cannot be a witness because you're not impartial. Maybe, but let's say you hear the testimony from two witnesses, yeah? But then two other witnesses can say the opposite. So then you can still be impartial because maybe somebody else says something else. There's Exeris HaKosuv. Okay, the Torah says you have to be impartial. Once you see it, you're not impartial anymore. You're biased to what you saw. It just doesn't work. And the Torah says you have to be impartial. Otherwise you can't be a judge. That's why a person has a grudge against somebody, whatever, can be a judge. In that case, because you're not impartial. The Gemara and Ksubas go through a whole page or two of people that somebody was going on a boat, yeah, and the guy helped him. There's a Shmuel, I think, who was going on the boat, and the guy helped him. And they were getting to talking. He just gave him his hand to help him on the boat, And he said, "I have a case I need to bring before you." He said, "I'm impartial. I can't sit anymore. You did a favor for me. I'm impartial. I'm not impartial anymore. I'm biased." A sharecropper brought a whole bunch of stories during service about the rabbis. A sharecropper. That means the guy who works in the field on commission, and every so often the guy brings the owner the fruit, right? One time he brought the fruit a day early. Or a few days early. All guys own fruit, yeah? The sharecropper bought it. He said, "Why did you bring it early?" He says, "Because I have a court case I need you to hear." He said, "No, I'm sorry, I can't sit." The fact that you brought it a day earlier, there's already a bias to you. Exactly like today's judges, exactly. No, but because then, once you see something, you're not impartial. Once somebody does even a slight, somebody would think, so the guy helped you on the boat, big deal, you'd help anybody on the boat. The fact that you helped this guy on the boat, he became disqualified to sit as a judge. And that's why also the halacha is you can't listen to one side without the next. Because once you hear one side, you form an opinion. Once you form an opinion, then you're not impartial anymore. So he says, yes, he says, oh, the Balmakinyan, the arrow went out like a shot of lightning. Like a, chochma, the brainstorm in the head. The madmech, they ask therefore, you become like overwhelmed. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to bring down this level of Vaetchanan al Hashem. So what's Moshe Rabbeinu telling Hashem? You had an awakening from above. You were showing me this great level of Elokus. Yeah? So therefore, I want to bring down this level into the ear. The Eretz. And then establish the bracha of mitzvahs. To awaken, to reveal the awakening from above, that's where they are called Chachamim Einei Ha'eda. He says like this, the Chachamim are called B'chal in Chumash Einei Ha'eda. Okay? Einei Ha'eda means the level of the eyes, Re'iyah. He says the Anshe Knesset HaGedela with the level of Re'iyah in Elokus. Therefore, they brought down that Amshachim Omayla in the Birchas HaMitzvahs for the Jew to be able to do the Aved of elevating the Gashmistic world, the Serusa de Lasata, to a greater level. There were Einei Chacham, Laham Shemchinas Riyav. Therefore, it's another interesting thing. There's a story. Alter Rebbe once saw somebody learning the Rosh. Rabbeinu Moshe was a Rishon in the back of the Gemara. So he was the father of the Torah. Anyway, so the Rosh, Rabbeinu Moshe, the guy was learning the Rosh in the Gemara. Alter Rebbe went over to him. He said, why does the Rosh learn like this? Why didn't he learn a different way? He said, good point. So Alter Rebbe said, a reason why he didn't learn that way. He couldn't do it that way. And then the Alter Rebbe refuted what he said, and refuted what he said, and refuted what he said, and refuted what... It went on and on and on. Why he couldn't learn it? Finally, the Alter Rebbe said, that's why he learned the way he did. And he said, don't think that the Rosh went through this whole intellectual dialogue in his head before he saw it the right way the first time. Because they were in a level of Re'iyah, when they learned Torah, they got it right the first time. They saw the level of Re'iyah. We have to understand it, and we still don't understand it. But when they saw something, therefore, by tzaddikim, and you saw it by the Rebbe, they answered questions, basic question about Klal Yisrael, on the spot, without even going through, Why? Because by them it's the level of Ri, of Elokus. They see that level of Elokus, what needs to be done right away. That's the level of Ri'iyah.
Some tzaddikim are from up down, some tzaddikim are from down up.
What?
Some tzaddikim from up down, some down up.
There were certain tzaddikim that Eliyahu Navi primarily was the Aveda Mumato L'maylo. Therefore it says Eliyahu Navi refined his body to such an extent, Mumato L'maylo, that it went up there to Gan Eden. Right? He didn't have Offer Atav and Offer Toshuv. And there's certain tzaddikim on Mumaylo L'mato. The Rise Komler?
Yeah. From uptown and the other one is from...
No, one's a Maskell, one's an Avid.
Yeah.
That's also different. To a certain extent, the Maskell Mamayla, the Mato Avid is Mamato Lamaila, but don't worry, they were both pretty great. And in order to be mamshech this level of Riyah, Moshe Rabbeinu started saying, Vaetchanan al Hashem. What does that mean? When Shlomo Melech built the Beis HaMikdash, he said, Asher Chananti Lifnei Hashem. He said that I built the Beis HaMikdash that I had the Daven Lifnei Hashem. And here it says, Vaetchanan el Hashem. When Shlomo Melech had the same expression, Vaetchananti, Vaetchanan Tefillah, Moshe Rabbeinu said, Vaetchanan el Hashem. Shlomo Melech said, Vaetchananti Lifnei Hashem. Why? He said, Ksiv Hashem Ke'orachum v'chanun. V'chanun v'rachum Hashem. One pasuk says, Ke'orachum v'chanun. First rachum, then chanun. And another pasuk says, Chanun v'rachum Hashem. Chanun before rachum. Right? Achin e'pir shavaya Ke'orachum v'chanun, meaning, Shebachin is Havaya. The level of Havaya, marker called Savas. Nim Shechu Amidas Lias Chanun V'Rachum. In other words, Milmayla Lamata, when you talk about Havaya, Hashem Kel Rachum V'Chanun. When you have Havaya first, that's the level of Chaniya, which is Matnas Chinom, Milmayla Gili Milmayla. Rashi says, if it's Rashi Vaetchanan, why do you use the word Vaetchanan? You didn't say Vespalal. You should say Vespalal al Hashem. So Rashi said he asked for Matnas Chinum. Chinum. He asked for a gift for free. Moshe Rabbeinu said, I don't deserve it, but give me a gift to go in. So that is a Gilui Milmayla, and then comes to Rachum. Avochanu v'rachum Hashem pirish chedei is bechinas havaya, which is symptom is pashtus. Calls a machmashu chanu v'rachum. In other words, it's again the same havaya momayla lamata. If it's havaya first, then you have momayla chanun v'rachum. If it's chanun v'rachum Hashem, then it's momata lamayla, and then you'll be with that level of yichevavke. I'm bringing down the level of Chanun. Therefore Moshe Rabbeinu said, Vaetchanan el Hashem. To Hashem, meaning to bring down Hashem. Vaetchanan and davening el Hashem to God, to bring down Hashem. Shim bechinas gevayim v'nayla me'ed l'mayla mayla me'apni ha-mitzvahs she'en ha-mitzvahs magiya sham. Like really many times, there's a level that mitzvahs reach up to. Okay, like in this week's parsha, Vayim Shemaya, right? There's in this week's parsha, Shishi. Vayim Shemaya Tishma, you listen to mitzvahs, you're going to get rain. You're not going to listen to mitzvahs, you're not going to get rain. That means rain is a level that mitzvahs connect to. Right? It's the avoid of the Jew. Either makes it or breaks it. But then you have Tal. There's a level of relationship with Hashem that is higher than mitzvahs. The Yechidah Shebenefesh is a relationship that a Jew has with Hashem that's not at all dependent on behavior. Therefore, every Jew is not more than one Jew. Moshe Rabbeinu is not more than one Jew. And Dasan and Aviram are not less than one Jew. I mean, there are two people, Dasan and Aviram. But they're not less than a Jew. There's a level of Jew that's totally irrelevant to the level of mitzvahs. Okay.